I will now read you the instructions how to keep a pet squirrel. After we already heard that you don't need to, because you can just come here and look at them in the wild, which is much nicer. So, a squirrel makes a very attractive and interesting pet. But we should always see that the animal we obtain is a young one, and if possible, a squirrel that is born in captivity. It is unkind to capture an animal that leads so active and unfettered a life after it has passed infancy and knows what the freedom of the woods is like. So there you have the evil guy trying to catch the squirrel. And in any case, such an animal is difficult to tame and is always likely, when suddenly alarmed, to give our finger a nasty nip with its teeth. The squirrel, born in captivity, is almost invariably free from this undesirable habit and can be tamed much more easily. So there you have a little whip, a little squirrel whip. This is not very... It is very cruel to keep such an animal in a small cage. And above all, to place it in one of those cages which consists entirely or almost entirely of a revolving wheel. So this is not the way to do it. Now we find out what we need to do. A roomy cage should be provided in which a revolving wheel is merely an apartment to which the squirrel can resort or not as it likes. I've never read this aloud. It's much harder to read than in Julia Donaldson's text. In this form, the wheel is useful as it enables the squirrel to take the exercise without which it cannot keep healthy. So here you have the squirrel doing its exercise. We must remember that the squirrel is by nature a very agile creature, springing about from tree to tree and playing among the leafy branches almost incessantly. No cage should ever have its main compartment less than 3 feet square and 5 feet high. And if we can provide a bigger one for our pet, all the better. So there's a little girl measuring the cage. Near the roof, a sleeping box about a foot square should be provided and warmly lined with soft, clean hay. The floor must be sprinkled with sawdust, and this should be covered over with hay or broken straw to prevent it from being scattered all over the cage as the squirrel scampers over the box. A tree branch should be firmly fixed in the cage, one fork leading to the sleeping box. And in a large cage, a trapeze may be added. In buying a squirrel, it is best to obtain our animal in September, so you missed your chance, when its coat is in the best condition. The feet must be clean, the eyes bright, and the teeth white. If the teeth are yellow, the animal is old and should be rejected. So, again, for it will be difficult and perhaps impossible to tame it. So that's a very wild old squirrel, impossible to tame. Kind and gentle care will soon make a young squirrel very friendly and affectionate. The feeding of the pet squirrel is by no means a difficult matter. I don't think the high chair is necessary. That might be a help. Plenty of nuts should be provided. Beech, Barcelona, walnut, hazel, and monkey nuts, but not the oily kinds like the Brazil. Acorns, wheat, and stale bread are all useful, and boiled rice and bread and milk, well strained, should be given regularly. Carrot, sweet, apple and boiled potato are also good, and occasionally a little cooked meat. Of course, if the animal is very young, when we first get it, we must break the shells of the nuts and chop up the kernels very small. Later on, it will learn to do this for itself, but it must be brought on to an adult. It must be brought on to adulthood gradually. 2 meals a day are sufficient. It is very necessary that the cage should be kept thoroughly clean, and a supply of fresh water must be provided all the time. Squirrels are certainly very attractive pets, and we shall never tire of watching their playful tricks, graceful actions, and queer attitudes. But they can be very strong-willed. And I think that's already the end. There's another little text, an old German text from 1669 about squirrels, which I can read to you. It's on the squirrel. The squirrel is nimble and The squirrel is a nimble and restless little beast. Though passably wild by nature, it can nevertheless grow so tame that it will frolic in bodices and sleeves, scamper about a master's or mistress's head, and hide itself in a person's dress. When a squirrel out looking for food comes upon a river that it would cross, it finds itself a chip of wood, seats itself upon it, hoists its tail in place of a sail, trims this appendage to the wind, and so navigates the channels. They have been sighted crossing rivers in this fashion, carrying a pine or fir cone lodged between their teeth. So you should all look out on Kielder waters to whether you can see the squirrels on their little surfboards. I don't know why I didn't illustrate that. If the summer sun gives off too fierce a heat, the squirrel will use its tail as an awning, and by this means furnish itself with shade. So that was the 17th century knowledge about squirrels. So this was a very short book, so it's a very short reading.